Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on this and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, everybody? It's Dean to the J with a roll away, and it is Wednesday, June 21st. Yes, 21 days of fun, and I've finally made it back on the air for episode 118. 118 episodes. I cannot believe it. I told you it was going to be a good one. Hope everybody is having a great day. Pardon my allergies as Virginia's pollen count and everything else count, and dust and dander has decided to go through the roof. But I will try not to die on the air. And if I do, I have a crash card. Clear. Okay, there we go again. I want to welcome everybody to the show. We had an awesome show last week. New members coming on, and like I said, great to be back for the relaunch. A lot of people have been emailing me and asking when they can come on, and a lot of interviews that I've been doing. I've got a show coming up on the 28th that's going to be great. A guest that's going to be great, and she's been so excited to be on the show. We're going to have all sorts of different people on the show that you've never seen before. Some verbal, some nonverbal, all sorts of different stories and disabilities that are going to share what's going on. What we want to talk about today, though, and we want to go through is self-esteem. Now, this show for a lot of people is not going to be an easy show because when you're dealing with self or the inner reflection of yourself, you're going, I really don't want to talk about this. This is not something I want to do. Why are we doing this? This is hard. All right, so self-esteem, which is just confidence in one's self-worth or abilities, self-respect. That is the definition of self-esteem. So why is it so hard to keep self-esteem up here, and why does it plummet way down here when you look in the mirror? Okay? All right, so I'm going to go by I want to talk about a few things. We have to remember that when we're talking about self-esteem, the first word in that is self. If you do not love yourself, you very rarely or will not be able to love anybody else. Go lay down. Sorry, that's the puppy. I know for a fact that a lot of people struggle with my hair is too this, my skin is too this, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that. Pop her, please. To the point where, I don't like this about myself. We have things that we don't like about ourselves. That's okay. But understand that you want to be happy with the way that you are. Miss Erin, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I'm doing well. I'm glad that you got your new job. Congratulations. I as I look at this, and this happens all over the world, women and men struggle with self-esteem. Hey, Aunt Faye, how are you? Thank you. It's amazing to me how big of an issue this is, not just in the U.S., but all over the world. No matter what we do to ourselves, dress suits, shiny shoes, fancy cars, 12 dogs on each arm, 3 women on each arm, done dated, here and there, and, walking down the red carpet. When we get to ourselves, something happens. It's getting to the point where you cannot have enough respect about yourself or anybody else because you don't like what you have. This is my fiance Kim. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you so much for that compliment.
But it really it takes time to realize and to start believing in what you are. And if you don't start the day off
Hi,
positive, hey,
Cindy.
hey Cindy, welcome to the show. If you don't start the day off positive and you don't come in and say, look, I'm going to start the day off this way, you're going to go into a negative spiral. If you start the day off negatively, most likely you're going to end it negatively. Your self reflection or your self esteem has to be that of what you truly see. Okay. So when you have low self esteem, I want to lose weight. I'm too fat. I'm too big. I'm too this. I'm too that. I want to change it. You don't have to starve yourself to lose weight. Some diets are going to work, some diets aren't going to work. There are tons of things that you can try. Okay. My brother, being a personal trainer, knows a lot about body metabolism. Okay. If your metabolism is low, you burn food slowly. If your metabolism is high, you burn food quickly. The older we get, the slower our metabolism goes. So therefore, in Kim's situation, she can't gain weight. She burns metabolism too quickly. So we have to kind of upstart her protein intake and get her to take more in than she's used to so she can actually gain weight, and we'll start tapering that down. But the problem is you can't fix self-esteem just by the way you look because it's here. Something has affected your self esteem. And the way to, and when I say this, everybody's going to go, no, 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 this can't be right. It's not that. You've got to get out of society to get really working on your self esteem. If you continue to look at what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is saying, then the problem you're going to face is I this person doesn't like me, maybe I should do this. I
Thank
wonder
you.
I wonder what this person thinks. You're going toward them, looking at them saying, "Okay, this person's going to fix me." No one needs to fix anybody. No one needs to okay, we are created the way that we are. Okay? There are big people, small people, skinny people. There are people with one leg, people with one arm, people with one eye, people that hop around, people that roll around, people that jump around, people that mess around with their entire lives trying to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed. And the issue is, in that moment, you're trying to fix something that you don't need. I know for a fact that one of the biggest things of women, they think they need more makeup to accentuate the features, or this type of jeans so their butt sticks out just the right way,
Mhm.
or this type of blouse so they can hide those tummy tuck features. When we can get past how we look as individuals and start loving ourselves for what we are and what we see, we're going to be okay. We have to find, and that's a good comment right there. And don't make comparisons. You are your own person. Everybody has their own individual self,
Stop.
their own individual look. We didn't copy it from somebody else. We didn't go around saying, "Oh, you stole that from me. I used to wear that sweater last Tuesday. You took it." Somebody can buy the same shirt and like the same shirt and like the same style. Nobody is copying somebody else's style. The problem with self-esteem is we get it in our head that something's wrong and we try to change it by going under the knife, by having a surgery, by having plastic surgery, by getting a tummy tuck. Look, my tummy is not tucked, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a spare tire on myself. It's a good year, okay? It's got about 80,000 miles on it. It's probably gonna have just a little bit more by the time we come around to 42. But I'm gonna be all right because I'm happy with the way I am. Now, does that mean I'm not trying to lose weight? No. Do I need to be drinking Mountain Dew? No. But do I like it? Yes. Am I going to drink it? Yes. I mean, you've got to decide what you want to do and what you want to be. If you want to go after something, do it the right way. If you want to lose weight, do it the right way. Don't pop diet pills and not eat for a week. That's not the way to do it.
Make her upset.
I mean, it's sad because so many people continue to do what they're doing that's not right, and they do it the negative way to where everything is, I've got to fix this. I've got to fix this. I don't think that it can be fixed through self-esteem. You have to understand you are the person that you're going to be regardless of what anybody else says or does. You have to be the person that you want to be. You've got to find your liking, but finding your liking isn't going to happen by necessarily just changing your appearance. Now, notice I said necessarily changing your appearance. You want to dye your hair? Dye your hair. You want it to be blonde? Let it be blonde. You want it to be sea green? Let it be sea green. You want to be blue? Let it be blue. Don't dye it 16 times. If you dye your hair 16 times, it's going to turn white and it's going to fall out. You don't have to change yourself to make someone else love you. I will tell you this right now. One of the worst things I did growing up in relationships with the women I was with is try to make myself what they wanted. Trying to be the man they wanted me to be. Now, some changes, we're not talking about self-esteem. Some changes, we're not talking about how we feel about ourselves. Some changes, we're messing with this. And when you get psychological, you can mess yourself up big time. When you let anybody convince you that you're not the person you say you are, that can mess you up. It doesn't matter if my hair is short, if my hair is long, if I got an afro from here to Sunday coming up, it doesn't matter. That is not what makes me me. What makes me me is my heart right here. That's what makes me me. But if I go around moping and hanging my head and just, being sad all the time, and I'm gonna say something, people, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't have a white coat yet. I don't have my name badge with my name on it. I'm not, Dr. Carter or anything. Acknowledge when you're depressed. Acknowledge when you're upset. Talk to somebody. Reach out to somebody. because you've got to understand, if you hold that crap in, all you're doing is you're festering a volcano. Okay. And it's going to sit down in the pit of your stomach, and you're going to be talking to somebody, and they're going to say the wrong thing, and you go, ah, and all of it's going to come out. Totally meaning something totally different and not trying to hurt you, and you just take it the wrong way and you snap. I have seen people withhold their emotions and not talk and wait. I'm fine. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. Kim has had so many walls because of her past, and she knows, I we've known each other 3 years, and it's hard to get through some walls because some walls are thick. Some walls are mortared. Some walls are just almost impenetrable. But when I met Kim didn't think highly of herself. She was very, and in some ways she still is, but she was very locked onto what everybody else thought, because she wanted to please others before she pleased herself. And that's common. And there's nothing wrong with that in the sense of what you're doing, but everything is wrong with it when it comes to your self-esteem. Us being together, everybody was like, oh man, you're crazy. She's in New York. You're in Virginia. It's not going to work. You just did this. Another New York chick. Oh my God. When are you going to find somebody next to you? And you got parents saying, oh, she's not the one. He's not the one for you. He's not the one that he's never going to be able to do anything. Why are you doing it? Again, that, the little, those are blows, and you get knocked down and you're like, dang, I ain't even done that yet. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? See, all of that takes chinks out of the armor. And Kim and I broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together 7 times. And on the 7th time, we realized we have to stop worrying about what everybody else thinks and do what's best for us. And I think in the honor of self-esteem, everybody puts self-esteem on everybody else's shoulders. The only way we're going to take care of our own self-esteem is to start believing in ourselves and knowing that we're worth it. And to quote unquote walk or move with confidence. Okay, confidence is a hard thing when you've had a rough life. Confidence is a hard thing when you've been beaten down. Confidence is a hard thing when the walls crash, because everything around you has been negative. One of the things I love about my life now is the people that I have in my life don't surround negative. They surround positive. So what the positive people start doing is they shovel that negative crap out of there. And they replace it with, you're worth it. They replace it with, somebody just gave me a like. Not sure who that was, but thank you. They replace it with, you're better than that. You're amazing. They start telling you not to fill your head with false propaganda, but what you really have. See, and sometimes your self-esteem is so low and so down in the ground, surrounded by weeds and dead dandelions and rocks, because you don't hit the bottom and you can't go no lower. You think you just a blob on the ground that can't do nothing.
2 likes.
Yep. And you're going, man, is this ever going to end? Yeah. When you start to realize that you're good enough and you get the people in your life to lift you up, not put you down. See, I got to be careful because I can go so many directions with this. Let's talk a minute. So you look at self-esteem. All right, self-esteem runs in two rows. Okay, you got self-esteem, and you got people. You got your strengths, you got your weaknesses, and you got way over here toxicity. I want to talk about toxicity for a minute. If you got somebody in your life that is constantly doing this, if you don't go and get this right now, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you blah 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 all day long. You don't do anything right. You do da 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 da. I told you to do it this way. If you don't stand up for yourself, that is a toxic environment. If you are in a toxic environment, you are doing nothing but bringing yourself down. And if you bring yourself down, your self-esteem goes down. You stop eating. You get worried. You start doing drugs. You do things that you've never done before because you're trying to do something, cover up pain. So many people are involved in things such as cutting, thinking if they cut their skin or they cut their flesh, the pain will bleed out and go away.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It only manifests itself exactly. It's a temporary fix for a moment of release. It manifests itself in deeper and more dangerous ways.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol, another way. Alcohol doesn't do anything but cover up the symptoms for a while. A temporary fix. All of this is involved. Don't leave me, guys. Stay with me. Self-esteem. It all starts right there. And you say, how? How can that have anything to do with self-esteem? Let me tell you. The ability to say no. The ability to be able to push it away. No, I don't need that. I'm good enough where I am. I'm good enough with what I have. I don't need that to make me feel good. Vaping, one of the most destructive forms of harming yourself and saying, oh, it don't harm me. It's just tobacco. It's just this. People vape to get away. People smoke to get away. People do drugs to get away. People drink alcohol to get away, until you hit flat bottom and you're on the ground and you don't know where you are and you wake up in a pile of your own mess and go, can it get any worse than this? When you're at that point and you realize I'm still who I am, okay? My physical appearance has not changed. You may have lost some weight from doing damage to yourself. You may have not eaten for a while. Your mouth may be dry. You may be hurting. Your bones may be soft because they're not getting the nutrients they need. But you are still who you are. And if you can get yourself up off the ground and realize I have got to find something positive within myself to look upon. You got to start there. That's where this changes. Your effect right here. How many times have my viewers heard me say this? Your attitude reflects your altitude. Your attitude reflects your altitude. And in turn, your altitude reflects your attitude. When you're down here, I don't know if I'm going to get this job. I don't know. Sound like Eeyore on steroids. I guess nobody's going to love me. Here's your plane. Going down. We're going to, okay, we're going to hit the ground. Pull up, pull up, pull up. You got to have positivity somewhere. You got to find a bowl of honey. You know, and if you don't find something positive, just a little nugget is all it takes to turn it around. Because you can turn a negative into a positive just by flipping it. I didn't get the job, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get the job I want. See what happened? I didn't get that job because that wasn't the right one for me. I'm going to find the right job for me. I'm going to prepare for the next interview, and I'm going to get a better job than that one. Most problems with self-esteem start when your feet hit the floor. When you wake up, man, I had a rough night last night. Boom! There it is. Right there. Man, I didn't sleep well. Bam! Man, my back hurts. Man! You're setting yourself up. Man, it smells good in here. Start somewhere. Find something to lift you up this way and not bring you down this way. Have confidence within yourself and in your own abilities. What you do and what you say, listen to me now, what you what you do and what you say are very much the same thing. Very much the same thing. Words can hurt like a double-edged sword. Words can destroy, words can maim, words can cut, words can kill. I love this right here. Oh, man. Daniel, he did it again. Sometimes when we look in someone else's yard, we see the grass is greener, and we get jealous. We don't realize the boop boop that they're going through to make it in their yard that's pretty. Sometimes it is best to just trust and know that what you got is what you need.
That's so true.
Daniel, I couldn't have said that better myself. I really, and I like the way, what did they have to go through to get that grass so green? How many plots of Miracle-Gro did they have to plant? How many hours of work did they have to go through to lose all that weight? Yeah, I'm talking about you, big boy. I know what you went through. You went through hell and high water to get where you are. And you have changed your complete appearance because you chose to make a better decision about yourself. And that is what happened. And I'm very proud of that. I know how hard it is to change because when you're down in that negative mindset, everything around you compartmentalizes and surrounds and jerks toward that negativity. But if you can find that positive thought, you can always find something positive. Sometimes you just really have to look for it. And that's the problem right there. To find the positive in a negative situation. Let me tell you, going to get Kim last Sunday, last Saturday, I cracked my rib getting into the van. And I don't know if many of you have cracked a rib, but when you crack a rib, it hurts to breathe, it hurts to move, it hurts to fart, it hurts to do anything. And I was in quite a bit of pain. To where I couldn't turn, I couldn't do anything at all. I could not. I mean, and I said, man, I just don't understand. Take her out, please. I don't. I don't understand, and it was so good to have somebody just to to be there and to say, look, I want you not to move. I want you not to be. I want you not to have to think. Rely on me for a little bit. Rely on me for a little bit just to be your right hand so you don't have to think. And I just know for a fact that if you can find that positive to where you don't have to rely on yourself, it has to be checking the basket. It has to be something to grow from. That moment of positive has everything doesn't go right. Okay? Everything doesn't go right when you want it to be something different. When you want it to be something different. Okay? Just like in the show, sometimes you got a barking dog that doesn't hush because she wants attention. Sometimes, the internet doesn't work right. That doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. That doesn't mean that you're not doing what you need to do.
This is our service stuff.
That doesn't mean that you can't do something on your own time and that you're doing it wrong. It is just the point that you have to make to where you've got to find something positive in a moment or two of self-esteem. And that is whether it's negative or positive, it's going to affect you in the way that you let it affect you. What I love about going through the valley of low moments life gives us is the moment we hit the peak and look back and realize it was worth it. The struggle that makes you appreciate it so much more. And because you had to fight, and because you had to push, and because you had to make that move past that valley, past that mountain, and you come out stronger on the other end. Exactly. Life happens, to say it clean. It does. Life does happen. But the point that I'm trying to make is you cannot let this life affect you so negatively that it doesn't stop. Okay? Life happens whether we're alive or whether we're dead. The bills keep coming. The taxes got to get paid. Everything that we do is still going to go forward. No matter how bad we want to, we can't go back. I spent 10 years of my life trying to go back because I thought I was in the wrong place. But it turned out in that moment, I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And in that moment, when you realize I wanted to go back to Waynesboro because I wanted to visit my friends, because I was tired of being in Portsmouth. But the problem is, all of my friends in the 10 years that I was gone and moved back home, they went on with their lives and they moved. Okay? That's not a negative thing. That's called life. That's what happens. People make decisions to go to different plateaus and go to different areas and go to different places and go to different mindsets because they want change. They want a change of scenery. They want a change of lifestyle. They want a change of habitat. They want a change of emotion. They want a change of style. They want a fresh start. But even, listen to me now, even if you get all of that, even if you get all of that, and you have crying babies and crying dogs and crying this and dropping things and low internet and this, that, and the other, you cannot let that affect what you're trying to do. Because what you're trying to do is give somebody else a nugget of positivity to hold on to. I don't care if you're 300 pounds. I don't care if you're dressed in all black. I don't care if you've got more chins than a Chinese phone book. I don't care if you've got hair that's falling out. One side looks like it's a crop field, and another side looks bald as the day you were born. I don't care if one ear's hanging way down here and the other one's way up here. You've got to find the good in what God gave you. And we act like that's so hard to do because a lot of times we depend on society for answers when we've had the answers the entire time. There's nothing wrong with us, the way that we are, the way that we've been, and the way that we're going to continue to be because God allowed us to be the way we are. Before I got saved, for 13 years, I was mad at God. So many times I would say, how in the world could you do this to me? How in the world, why in the world can't I be normal? Why in the world can't I be something out there playing football or out there, doing this and doing that? And I realized later on that I was very normal and that I was very happy and that I could still play football and I could still do the things that I want to do and go in the places that I want to go. And God didn't prevent me from doing anything. God gave me something to allow me to move the way that I'm moving and do exactly what I need to do. Oh, I love this, Daniel. I love this right here. Proverbs 16:9 is my life verse. It says, in his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord that determines your steps. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans because what he has in store for you is much better. No matter how many times we try to figure something out, no matter how many times we mess something up, no matter how many times something goes wrong, here's what I want you to look at. A new day dawns. A new day dawns. And you have a second chance when you open your eyes and you take that breath to start again, anew. Start at the beginning and realize all I got to do is pray about this, seek him, and follow him, and everything else is going to be okay. And I know that sounds so simple, and I know it's difficult. It is. Nobody said life was easy, you know. But I realize now that I've never been a go with the flow kind of guy. But ever since I got into martial arts 13 years ago, I learned to be like water, to flow as you go up over the stump, up over the rocks, up over the grass, and you have waves. That's why I say life is very much here. Life is not just straight through. Okay? There are flat points, there are high points, there are low points. But you've got to remember, just because things may not be good right now, you've got to find that positive nugget. And I know you're struggling. I know you're sitting there. I've been looking for the positive nugget my whole life. I'm going to tell you what Rafiki said. Look harder. Look harder. Life is like a roller coaster ride. It's always an up and down battle. It's just like, Kim was sitting here and the dog was acting up and she took her outside for me, and yet she's still watching the show and still participating because she knows what this show means to me and the people that watch it and why. And I know it's hard to go through these battles and think you're going to end up on the bottom. But remember, when you've got somebody that lifts you up, thank you, sweetheart, that lifts you up and that is down there in the trenches with you, and you've got somebody that is going through it with you, that's where your true friends are, folks. That's where your true people are. And then you're going to realize that your self-esteem is going to start rising and rising and rising, not because just they're there, but you are beginning to believe within yourself and realizing the things that you talk about are happening because you're putting positive confirmation into your life. You're taking away the weeds out of that garden that you've been planting for so long, and you're letting the flowers grow and the carrots grow and the tomatoes grow and the potatoes grow. You're only going to go through hardship for a time. Life cannot always be hard. There are going to be moments, pieces, places, thoughts of clarity. Okay? We have to realize as a people, for us to grow and learn how to improve our self-worth and improve our esteem and improve our attitude, is not to look down here, but look up here and look at the positives in your life. You have breath in your body to make a statement. You have a heartbeat within your chest to do a show like this on a platform where somebody is struggling on Wednesday night and they feel like there's no way out. And they feel like they haven't got a friend in the world. And there's no end to the terror and the hurt and the pain and the this and the that they're going through. But I promise you this. If you can find a positive within a negative situation and start applying those positive pieces to your life, your self-esteem will rise. I used to have almost a negative attitude all the time. And no thanks to you, I see my life, and now thanks to you, I see my life on a whole new note, which put my life in a positive attitude. I thank you for this. And I was glad to be part of that. But you made the decision to change. You made the decision to move. You made the decision to get out of where you were. And I'm proud of you for that. That's what it takes. A decision to change your life can start right here. And when it's in your mind, remember that nobody can take it away from you. I've looked at these shows over and over and over and over again, and I just have to take a couple of minutes to say thank you to the new members that have come up. Daniel, I know, have been on the last two shows, and he's been a friend of mine for over 30 years. And I have so much respect for him because we used to sing together, but not only that, his life's journey of what he's been through. Um, you know, Daniel preaches, and he's a true man of God, and he seeks and prays fervently, and just, you know, he's got a great wife and a great family, and you know, to have, you know, my fiance here now, to have Cindy here, to have all of the others that popped up and commented, it is so meaningful to have all of this. And I know, Maisha, I appreciate you being here. It's one of those things. Aunt Faye, you know, and Aaron, you know, these are people that I haven't seen and or heard from, and gosh, it's been a while. But you look at life, and you look at life as it is, and I've only got about 10 minutes left. But I want you to think about this. What are you going to do? Thank you, Cindy. What are you going to do if you don't take that chance? What are you going to do if you don't find that positive nugget? Because if you're happy where you are, stay there. But you don't sound happy to me. If you've got low self-esteem and you can't find anything positive about yourself, and you're looking for the answer, then find it. Take that moment and sit down and go, okay, where am I suffering from? Where can I find my positive? Sometimes it's in a show you watch. Sometimes it's in a book you read. Sometimes it's in a prayer that you say. Sometimes it's finding a penny head up on the ground and picking it up. And all the day you'll have good luck. And that one positive moment that you reflect. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I look at it, and if you take it and you go, okay, now how can I apply this? How can I apply this? And you apply it not only to bringing up your self-esteem, but you imply what I say to everyday life about finding a positive note every day. It's not just one day that self-esteem goes. It's gonna do the waves just like we talked about. It's going to be that moment where you sit there and you go, can this get any worse? Don't ask that question, because it can. I promise you, it can. But what I want to say to you is this. When you hit rock bottom, when you feel like you're at the end, you've got nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to say, no one to turn to, you've got nowhere to go but up. I have met so many people that told me my show is an inspiration. My show is a positive vibe. Your show made me realize that I could do things. Your show showed me that I could do this. Your show, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. Because all I was doing was speaking from here. And Daniel said it last week. When you speak from your heart, you'll always speak the truth.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes from here, and you're not trying to hurt anybody, and you're not trying to put anybody somewhere that they don't need to be, and you're speaking words of love, not words of hate, you're going to see the truth in this.
Mm-hmm.
I can find a million things to talk about. I can have a million guests. I can have a million people lined up, email after email after email after email after email. I can have my own father on this show, which I am going to do, which is going to be one of the hardest shows for me to do in my entire life. Because that's a lifetime of things we're going to talk about in 1 hour. But he agreed to do it, and he is going to do it. My stepmother's going to do it. I've got a guest coming next week that's going to knock your socks off. Miss Kayla has been waiting to be on my show for 3 years. Since my show launched, she's been wanting to be on it. And I was trying to figure out how to do this because Kayla's nonverbal. And because I wanted the show to be like this. And Kim is with me on the show a lot. Sometimes she doesn't say anything. She just sits and listens. Because sometimes there's nothing you can say. You have to let it sink in as it's going to sink in. But I'm going to tell you right now, Kayla's story is going to blow your mind. And if you want to watch a show that's going to make you change here, do me a favor. Watch next week. Go to my YouTube channel right now. My CP does not define me. Go to that YouTube channel and hit subscribe. Right now. You can watch every single show that I've done. 118 episodes. 4 years. 3 years. 4 years now. Almost of my CP does not define me. This September 10th will be 4 years of my CP does not define me. 118 episodes. Powerful. I've dealt with a lot of stuff. I've snotted and cried and laughed, and I went through every emotion on this show. You know why? Because when you break it down and you take the bark off the tree, it's real. Thank you for all this. I really needed it. In the future, me and Emmy Coffee Buck would love to be on your show. Do me a favor. Send me an email at Carter G. Let's see. MyCP does not define me at yahoo.com. Send me an email right now. MyCP does not define me at yahoo.com. Tell me a little bit about yourself and let me set up an interview for you, and I'll be glad to do it. I'd be glad to do it. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming up here and being, to honestly say that you want to do that. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But I'll be glad to do it. But my CP does not define me at yahoo.com. Just send me an email. I will read it tonight when I've got 50 other ones that I've got to get through. I go through them every night. I'm backed up because ever since I said my show was going to relaunch, bing, 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 bing. That's when they come up. And people get mad because they think I forget about them. Guys, when this show hits, there are people emailing me now, right now, to be on the show. Okay? I will get to you, I promise. Okay? You just got to give me a little bit of time. So I want to take the second to thank some of the sponsors of the show. I want to thank Kelly's Choice. I want to thank Edwina Wilson, the CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice. I want to thank Let Go Radio. I want to thank Disability Global Broadcast. All of this is possible because of them and because of these organizations. I was given this opportunity and I quote unquote have ran with it. If you have a story that you want to tell and you think the world should hear about, do me a favor. Go to YouTube, go to My CP Does Not Define Me, and subscribe to my channel. Go to your email, and let me know that you want to be on my show. Let me know why. I will set you up an email. It may be a month from now. It may be 2 months from now because I'm booked through July. Okay? So we talking about August and September now. All right? I will get to you. And Ethan, I will get to you. You know, I promise. Let me get through a couple. And the newer people that have never been on, I'm going to get to first. If you've been on before, you're going to have to wait a little bit because I got some new people coming in. I call that fresh meat. Got to get that in there. Y'all got to understand. All right, look, I love you guys. Thank you so much for the comments. And I'm going to tell you, Flynn is still my buddy Logan. Every show I do, every single video I do on YouTube, Logan comments on. Every single video. I have done over 196 videos on YouTube, from gaming to 296 videos, from gaming to My CP to Chairmaster Games to yada 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 yada, all the playlists. Logan has commented on nearly every one of them. Goes by Flint of Steel. I've never had a fan like that. Never had a fan like that. And for you guys to go in and comment and say these things and just continue.
You're amazing. That's why.
Thank you. This really, really, really helped me. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You are quite welcome. That is why I do this. That right there. Mm-hmm. Not for the thank you. Not for the thank you. But this really helped me. I was feeling this way, and now I realize this. I was going through this, but now we've changed the direction of the way the arrow is pointing. I'm gonna to give you a quote, and it's very simple. Life is what you make it. Choose your path wisely. There will be rocks and boulders in your way that you can't always avoid. Sometimes you must go through them to succeed. As I always say, ladies and gentlemen, this is My CP Does Not Define Me, episode 118. And as I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We will see you next week.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.